As a Hamilton fan, I really didn't think this was possible. I really didn't think it was going to happen. I thought we were going to grab the small wins that we could. Almost like Alonso fans, be grateful for any podium that happens towards the end of a legend's career. I genuinely thought we were in a situation where the highs were going to be Monaco and Canada when he gets podiums and second places, and despite winning, he's looking really competitive and fantastic. And then Barcelona happened. And wow, what a race. I mean, it in terms of like on-track action, it was a little bit boring. It was more of an attrition race. It was all about the tyres and everything like that. But my goodness me, what did we just witness? Hamilton win. All British podium. George Russell second and catching up to his teammate, but still, everyone's still doubting George Russell. The whole situation with Lando Norris, honestly, it's crazy. And then we got the whole situation with regards to Nico Hulkenberg, which is like the most unluckiest you could ever have, of having Liam Lawson right in front of him, kicking up some gravel, and one of the gravel hitting the emergency switch, switching the car off. But let's focus in on Hamilton, because, well, if you'd have said back in, 2020, that between 2022 and 2026, we would have 2 Grand Prix wins for Lewis Hamilton. Yes, there's a sprint win as well. I'm not going to deny that. But 2 race wins. Sorry, no, 3. Forgot about Belgium. Belgium feels a bit weird because, he didn't win on the track and it was penalties. But anyway. But if you'd have told someone in 2020 that that was what was going to happen from 2022 onwards, they would have thought you were mad. But as the years have gone on, as a Hamilton fan, it's felt like just seeing a slow decline. And I've got to be honest, even I was doubting whether he had the reaction times anymore. And wow, what he proved to me, probably to himself and to his team, that he's still got it. He still has the ability to win races. And look, here's the thing. Everything works well. The Ferrari strategy, I can't believe I'm saying it, was brilliant in doing the 3-stop and basically causing Mercedes to make a decision, which ended up being the wrong decision. And then the VSC happened, which I genuinely thought they were going to mess that up too, but they did not. And Hamilton just looked on fire. It looked comfortable at the end. And I know obviously the VSC helped that, but wow. There was no catching from the Mercedes drivers. It wasn't a case of he was holding on. It was impressive. And I think that's something that's really worth emphasising here, because it is special to see, considering what happened last year with the issues with the race engineer, where it just looked like Hamilton was just never going to fit in. The race engineer in this race, this season, is it Carlos Santi, I think his name is? He is brilliant. It's great to hear, and I think there was that interview that Hamilton gave that basically said that Carlos Santi was promoted and he had sort of lost the joy for racing, and almost being paired up with Hamilton and spending some time together sort of built up a little positivity between the two of them, which was brilliant team management from Fred Vasseur and fantastic from him, and just absolutely special. Absolutely special. I don't know what is happening, but wow, incredible. But I want to mention something here, because with Hamilton winning, with Antonelli retiring, and with George Russell just not being on it, there is already the chatter about, could he go for an 8th? And can I just go, can we stop? I want to enjoy this. I don't want this to be a thing where I don't enjoy it because I'm like going, oh, he's getting closer, and then disappointed because Antonelli's winning. This sort of reminds me of, like times gone by when we had Raikkonen and Alonso, and both of them were winning, and it was just fun to watch them both win, and we didn't really matter too much who the champion was. Of course, it mattered to them, and of course, it mattered to the teams, but it didn't really matter to us as fans. We just loved seeing them race, and I want that again, right? And I think we need to just enjoy these wins. Ultimately, the things that have gone Hamilton's way is that he has not had a mechanical failure like the rest of the competitors have had. Antonelli has had his first mechanical failure in this race. George Russell has had I think it's a couple of mechanical failures. Charles Leclerc has had myriads. And obviously the McLaren guys have also had mechanical troubles, and so has Max Verstappen. So there is that's worth bearing in mind in this. I think it's just worth having a bit of fun and just going, let's just enjoy this. This is nice. This is nice. We don't get to enjoy these races too much. We can slow down. We've got time. I mean, the graph, is the graph further down? Yeah, like that's just how we are. It's 41 points. Like, I say we've got at least 3 races before we can start talking about it. Maybe even 4. And if Hamilton's on a run, let's just enjoy the fact that he's on a 4-race podium streak or a 5-race podium streak. We just cannot stop getting off the podium. Similar to his first season at McLaren. Let's enjoy it. And truth be told, I mean, it's crazy that Leclerc's 4th still. But yeah, truth be told, it's just nice that we've got not just a multiple team championship and a multiple driver championship. We've almost got like 2 drivers and 2 teams. This is like the Lewis Hamilton versus Vettel days at Ferrari and Mercedes if they had competitive teammates at the same time rather than Massa and Bottas, right? Feels a bit harsh to say that, doesn't it? But anyway. But yeah, I think we can just enjoy the fact that Lewis Hamilton won. He was emotional. He's not thinking ahead. Let's not think ahead as fans. It's fun. We've got a championship leader who is just having fun in this season. We've got a guy that's 2nd who's just having fun. And the guy that's miserable is in 3rd, right? And he is painting out George Russell to be the bad guy. But I genuinely, it's like, I don't think anyone will hate too much if Hamilton or Antonelli wins the championship. I think it would be great. But let's not think about it too much. It's fun. And Italy, congratulations, guys. I think you're pretty much nailed on for something this season. So yeah, that was absolutely everything incredible. Like I say, incredible race. Fantastic the way it went. A perfect weekend, and considering the fact that this was a weekend where Hamilton didn't even do the first practice, so he was out of sync. Wow, really, really wow. So yeah, congratulations to Hamilton. Sad for Antonelli, but like I say, Antonelli still seems like he's got the upper hand over George Russell. I don't know what's going on. George Russell might have the qualifying pace, but he does not have the race pace. And it'd be interesting to see what is going on there. Going a bit further down, Oscar Piastri. And actually, that's a good point to mention about Oscar Piastri, right? This time last season, we were thinking he was the Antonelli. He was going to blitz the title. Lando didn't have a chance. Max Verstappen didn't have a chance. Oscar Piastri was going to nail it. And then he had 3 or 4 rough races in a row, right? So, I mean, we could have the same this season. But talking about Oscar Piastri, I don't know what happened, where his pace was. It was scary how slow he was. And that's quite concerning because we kind of want more. Well, Mercedes certainly want more teams in this championship, in the sense of, the more that drivers are taking points off each other, the less likely that they're going to overtake Mercedes. But it is weird that McLaren is sort of like 50-50 as to whether they're actually going to do it or not. It's a bit weird, isn't it? But no, absolutely incredible. We got a couple of weeks to savour this. I think is it next weekend is the Austrian Grand Prix. That's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be special. A lot of records that were broken, a lot of crazy things that happened, and yeah, really, really cool. Really, really happy. I don't think anybody disliked Hamilton winning. In fact, even Max Verstappen, the old enemy, was like going, it's great to see him win again. And no, just really, really good stuff. And to be honest, he's got like a Samson effect. Have you seen his hair, by the way? It's like a lion's mane. It's crazy. Kind of kind of jealous. But I need to rant now. And it's got nothing to do with the Barcelona Catalonia Grand Prix. That's another reason why I'm ranting today. It's for this. The Monaco Grand Prix. Yes, we are still talking about it. Do you remember I mentioned last week, guys, that I did not want the Alpine appeal to be accepted by the FIA because it was going to open a can of worms? Well, the appeal did get accepted. Gasly did get the podium, and it has opened a can of worms. And do you know what? Fair on this one, because I think this is crazy, right? So basically, they could appeal it because of the fact that Gasly did not serve his penalty, so got it added on at the end of the race. And that is, to me, nuts. Because what that is essentially saying is, either any penalties served after pit stops, any penalties given after all the pit stops are gone, they are fair game to appeal, but any that are before that, where they've been served at pit stops, drive-throughs, everything like that, they're not. You can't appeal them. And that to me is crazy. What you're essentially doing by accepting this appeal, which is the reason why I'm glad that McLaren have launched an appeal, and I think Mercedes should have launched an appeal with regards to George Russell, is what the FIA is basically encouraging teams to do is not to serve penalties. Now, I've got no problem with having an appeal system after a race. Got no problem with that whatsoever. Ideally, I'd like it to be happening during the race, it being discussed in the background, maybe like an overturn, something like that, discussing that sort of thing, an investigation and going through that. Maybe, possibly. But if it's the case that they want to do an appeal situation after the race, they're going to have to completely overrule and overturn and completely change the way they give out penalties. Basically, every penalty is going to have to be a time penalty after the race. Got nothing to do with pit stops. Absolutely nothing to do with pit stops. Has to be time served after the race to make it appealable. You can't have it where, Ferrari aren't going to appeal Hamilton's 5 seconds because that got served without any punishment to Hamilton, so they're not going to appeal it. What you've essentially got is the fact that Gasly's penalties are on a different level to Piastri's penalties, to George Russell's penalties, to Colapinto's penalties. That should not be the case. That should not be the case whatsoever. In fact, this is how it should have gone. If they wanted to do this appeal system, that the initial decision should have included all the teams that got the initial penalties. All the teams that got screwed over by the penalties. Even Ferrari, right? Again, might not be a strong discussion because I mean, like even if Hamilton had 5 seconds given back, he still wouldn't have gone past Antonelli. But almost discussing him with it all and going, right, if we overturn the Alpine penalties, we've got to overturn the McLaren penalties, the 5-second penalty to Piastri. We've got to overturn the 5-second penalty to Colapinto. We've got to overturn equivalent of 35 seconds to George Russell. Is everyone okay with that? Now, that's when you've almost got to start then including other teams as well. Like, it's mad. We're here now, guys. This is why I'm ranting about this. Throughout the past 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, we have had controversial decisions that have happened in F1. The most famous always being Hunt Lauda with regards to the wide load, the wide wing. Which again, that did get appealed, so maybe a bit different, right? But you've got the Schumacher-Damon Hill situation. You've got 2007 to a certain extent. There are some things that could be overturned and appealed then. 2008 definitely could. I'm not just talking about Singapore, I'm talking about the Belgian Grand Prix as well. Appeals on appeals on appeals. Let's move further ahead to the infamous incident, the one that it seems like we constantly talk about, Abu Dhabi 2021. That could be appealed based on this. We had accepted those results, but now because Alpine didn't accept this result and the FIA have accepted the appeal, it opens up those can of worms. Now, all of a sudden, we can't just go, oh, that's an iffy decision, we're just going to have to deal with it and complain about it in the next driver briefing to discuss it, to then sort it out. This is insane. I'm sorry, this is absolutely insane. This should not be happening. And this is not a vendetta against Pierre Gasly. I love Pierre Gasly, and I love it, when he gets podiums and wins, because he was shafted by the Red Bull team. Basically, any of the ex-Red Bull drivers I kind of root for, whether it be Gasly, whether it be Albon. I'm sure there's a third one I cannot think about for some reason. Or even Liam Lawson to a certain extent, right? Because of we know the terrible organisation that happened at Red Bull when it came to junior drivers. So I love it when they get good results, but not like this. Not like this. It shouldn't. Like I say, it should have either been dealt with on the track. So when that first speeding infringement happened, or the second one, and then that started getting appealed before the safety car happened, before the 5-second penalties were served, that should have been appealed then, not now. And like I say, McLaren launched an appeal. And I think they're right to do so when it comes to Piastri. Mercedes can launch an appeal, and I think they're right to do so. And that is the problem we're finding ourselves in. The result of the Monaco Grand Prix might take 2 or 3 weeks to get resolved. That is insane. We should be looking ahead, not looking back. We all know what happened. We all know the mistakes that happened. We all know the errors that happened. And we still don't know the results. Well, we know the top two. We know Hamilton. We know Antonelli, but who knows what behind? And let's just say, this is where it gets really, really, really messy. In fact, we haven't had this in Formula One. And the only time I can think this actually happened was in, I think, was it Formula 3 with Pastor Maldonado? Is we could have a championship fight that is decided by this. Just think about that. Let's imagine, and this is obviously a crazy scenario that, it's gonna there's loads of races to come. But let's imagine that, George Russell finishes the season 5 points behind the leader, whether that be Hamilton, whether that be Antonelli. And the Monaco appeals ends up with George Russell with 35 seconds taken off, which then puts him in like 5th place, giving him the points he needs. It's a farce. And that is what this has started. This has started the mess where we actually don't know where we are in the championship. George Russell could be second for all we know. What was the points between him and Hamilton? It's around 5 points. Yeah. That's genuinely where we could be seeing this. That's ridiculous. But that's where we see ourselves. I'm not happy about this. I need this resolving quick, because otherwise we're in deep trouble. And look, the good thing is we've got 2 weeks between Catalonia and the Austrian Grand Prix. They need to use that time to sort this out. The lawyers to sort this out, the team principals to sort this out, because this is not helping anyone. I'm not happy about this because of the, like I say, can of worms. Actually, it's probably bigger than a can of worms. It's probably a tank of worms, isn't it? It's not right. Shouldn't have happened. But anyway, those are my thoughts on, the Catalonia Grand Prix, the Monaco Grand Prix continuing. If there's any updates on Monaco, we'll do a follow-up video next week, which could potentially happen. But until the Austrian Grand Prix and the reaction to that, all that's left to say is, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below. Let me know if you want me to look at some specific subjects. And as always, guys, take care.